Webinar marketing strategy for healthcare business owners and doctors. Are you looking for any webinar marketing strategy? Do you want to know why the healthcare industry is using webinars? There is too much buzz around webinars in current scenario, and healthcare industry is no exception to that. However, very few healthcare business owners and doctors know how to utilize webinars effectively in a right way to grow their businesses. In this episode, we'll be talking about how to grow healthcare business with webinar marketing strategy. Hi, my name is Dr. Nitin and welcome to the podcast. My podcast name is Healthcare Marketing Podcast, and if you are new to this channel, please do subscribe to my podcast, that is Healthcare Marketing Podcast, where I do share marketing strategies, ideas, tips and tools for doctors and healthcare business owners. My goal is to uncomplicate marketing. I want to simplify marketing for doctors and healthcare business owners. In today's episode, we'll be talking what is webinar and why healthcare professionals and business owners should do webinar. Then I will be also talking about how to conduct webinars and what are the most crucial factors for successful webinar strategy. So let's get started with today's episode. So webinar is a online event, and usually it's live event, and it is hosted by either an organization, company, or in some cases some individuals, like in some cases doctors, health coaches, fitness trainers. These are the people who can host it individually, and it is usually broadcasted to selected group of individuals. Only limited number of people have access to webinars. So depending on various tools and systems, the number of attendees or the participants will vary. So basically, why do healthcare professionals and business owners should do webinar? So there are some reasons why if you are a healthcare professional or business owner, you should be considering why you need to conduct webinar. Because webinar gives an opportunity to continue to reach your target customer in spite of any physical limitations or any external world circumstances. What you need is just online tools, basically access to internet and some power backup. You can reach to wider audience. You can go beyond your existing or target customer population. Webinars gives an opportunity to have better understanding of your audience. Webinars will help you to educate your customers. So you might be having a very new or innovative product. So you can educate your customers what are the benefits of the product or services, or how to use your product and services. You can also use webinars for training of your employees and your staff. Sometimes it might happen your employees are located outside your city, or you have branches in multiple locations. In that case, you can train your employees, you can train your salespeople, you can conduct meetings online through this kind of webinars, where you can talk about your company plans and what are the projects that are upcoming. Webinars will help you to build a solid brand, and it will help you to increase your brand visibility. You can also use webinars to promote your product and services to your target customers. Webinars gives a boost to process of building the trust among your customers and maybe your team also. Webinar helps in building a stronger and lasting business relationship with either your partners, your customers, your employees. So in nutshell, it basically saves your efforts, it saves your money, and it saves your time. So that's why you should choose or consider using webinars for different objectives in your businesses. So in the comment section, let me know why have you conducted webinar, or on which topics have you conducted webinar, or maybe what are the topics that you are planning to give your next webinars. So let's move to next point, that is how to conduct webinar. Many people are excited to conduct webinars, but they don't know how to conduct webinars. So the very first step to conduct webinar is to plan the webinar. You need to plan the webinar in as much detail. You can begin with what is the objective or what is the purpose of webinar. Then you need to finalize what is the topic, or if you are conducting different topics, what are the topics that you are going to discuss in that webinar. Then you should finalize or identify who is going to be your target audience. And then you need to also shortlist and prepare for a presenter who would be presenting the webinar topic. It should be ideally an industry expert or some kind of expert on given topic, because that will give that outcome what you are expecting from the webinar. Without having that expert, people would not be interested to attend your webinar. So you need to prepare the presentation content in advance so that you don't have to hurry in last minute, or you don't have to make lots of changes in the last minute. It will help you, like you will not miss any points during your presentation. Then comes the most neglected aspect of the conducting webinar, and it is very crucial for a successful webinar, and that is marketing the webinar appropriately. You can promote your webinars way ahead of the planned date and time, so that you can promote it through social media. You can conduct some paid advertising, you can do email marketing, you can consider SMS or WhatsApp marketing also. So planning and preparation is the key to conducting a webinar. Apart from this, there are some crucial factors which are required for a successful webinar marketing strategy. There is a misconception that webinar is an online event, so it's very easy to do. But as I said, it's a misconception. Though it sounds, webinar is simple, but it's not easy. It sounds easy, but it's not easy. If you plan it, it's very simple. You need some kind of consultation or guidance from experts, particularly marketers at every stage, because you are expert of your domain. You are not expert of the marketing. You are not aware about how to conduct webinars. So you should take guidance from marketing experts. Then comes the invitations, because if you are unable to invite sufficient number of people, or if you are not able to target your potential audience, then people are not going to attend your webinar. You might not get desired numbers in the webinar. The participants may not join. There are some tricks and techniques how you can approach and make participants join the webinar in a large number. You need to also consider the technical aspects of the webinar, like which is the tool or webinar platform that you are going to use for conducting webinar. There are different platforms and they have their own pros and cons. So depending on your goal and objective of the webinar, you should choose the webinar platform appropriately. You need to look at what is the participant capacity that you are considering for the webinar. what are the number of participants that you are targeting, and is that platform supporting enough number of webinar participants. Then comes the internet and power backup availability, because if you don't have this, the whole system is going to fail and your webinar will end up without a successful event completion. So that's why you need to have preparation and planning for webinar. Once you have that, as I mentioned initially, you can achieve your marketing goals through this webinar, or maybe sales goals through webinar, or that is how you will be able to successfully conduct the trainings. So if you haven't subscribed to my podcast, please do subscribe to my podcast, that is Healthcare Marketing Podcast. If you have any questions, you can ask your questions in the comment section below, and also comment below what are your top 3 takeaways from this podcast. That's all for today. Signing off, Dr. Nitin.